What's up, folks? Welcome back. Nate is here, dancing ready
I'm jamming.
for our episode 2 review for The Last Airbender
Yeah, yeah.
on Netflix.
The flicks of net.
Netflixen. That's is that German?
Flixen. Yeah.
Netflixen. Or is it Swedish? I don't know.
Yeah. It's the same thing. Don't
No
trouble that.
offense. Sorry, guys, for all of our Swedish and German watchers.
Yeah, offense completely given.
Yes. So, back to the episode.
Yes.
What'd you think, sir?
That was
How'd you
that
like
was
it?
pretty legit. I really like the graphics with the I was already enamored with them the first episode, but I really like the graphics. I think I even said last episode that I thought that they were going to kind of shy away from it or do a lot of kind of cheapness about it, but they didn't, and that makes me really happy because this is one of the things that makes the cartoon work so well is because you can that's easier to draw that, but now it's like live action. So the storyline was pretty good as well. Yeah, they apparently they deviated, but I'm not gonna lie, I much preferred Home Chick coming in there and just wrecking stuff.
Yes, that was very interesting, and
That
I
was
I
legit.
wonder if they're going to keep doing that because he mentioned he can only do it when he's
When
at
he's
the
in a shrine,
shrine of
yeah.
that avatar. So,
Hmm.
I wonder if that's setting up, you know, in the
Hmm.
future or specifically when you get to the Northern Water Tribe, you know,
Hmm.
if you need to tap into that or, I wonder is that even well, I guess for right now, it's a shortcut, it seems, right? So he should be
Yeah.
able to use all those powers once he gets control of the avatar state.
Hmm.
In the
Yes.
meantime, he can shortcut his way there if he's near a shrine,
Right.
right?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
basically, near a shrine, just click the button, instant power up.
Click the button.
You
Sounds like
know,
Mega Man.
right? But if you're not near a shrine, then you got to do it the hard way and
Yeah.
use your own stats. So
Actually, that does remind me of Mega Man. Like like you remember Mega Man, right? He kills the boss and he gets
right,
the ability.
yeah,
He just
exactly.
goes in and just uses their ability. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah,
What do you think
yeah,
about it?
yeah. I think it was good, and what I want to try to do is keep ahead of the Netflix series, watching the cartoon, just so I can be able to compare.
Okay.
Just because it's interesting to see.
Yeah.
Um, and I hope people can just take this for what it is and not look for, as we mentioned before, like a direct
Yeah. A
oh,
faithful.
take this, put it directly into live action because I
Right.
think that doesn't work great. And I think that would lead to too much comparison, right? I think
Yeah.
the more different it is, the more you can take it for its own thing.
Hmm.
As an example, like I don't know if you watched the live action Lion King.
I did. Yeah, with Beyonce.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, Beyonce.
Beyonce.
That's
Yeah,
that.
I didn't
Correct.
really care for that,
Mm.
right? Like
Hmm.
I would have rather they just used the original voices and update the graphics if they were going to do that. To me, the story was too similar that now I have to compare it and I don't like it as much for me.
Oh, I see. That's you're
Like,
okay. Yeah.
yeah, I think they could just use the exact same audio and just use like new graphics.
Hmm.
And I'd be like, oh, this is pretty sweet. Like, this is okay. This is cool. It's the same thing, but different. But that version, I didn't care for it. And just, this is a side thing, but like them trying to do like you can't do the same animal emotions with realistic looking animals.
What do you mean?
Like how the cartoon like Simba like they have it there's a lot of emotion in their face,
Yeah.
right? Because it's a cartoon.
Hmm.
But the live action one, the animals are realistic looking.
Yeah.
So by default, they don't look like they're having human emotions as well.
Um. Okay.
It's more like, oh, this animal is talking,
Hmm.
right? But
Yeah.
it's a different feel to it. But again, I think had they made it more different from the cartoon,
Hmm.
it'd be less reason to like compare them directly because
Okay.
Lion King is so beloved,
Yeah.
right? And so to redo it
I
so
think
similarly, I think is difficult.
I think it would have been hard to redo it in a different way because um not impossible, just hard because of it has a foundational story, right? So the story exists outside of Disney first. Then Disney redid it. Didn't even tell it the same way. Then you did. That would have been interesting to do it the way that it was originally written. I mean, granted, we're not talking about Lion
Right.
King.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I didn't. When I watched it, I will admit that I wasn't impressed. I don't remember why though, because it's so long ago. I have
Yeah.
forgotten.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
Um,
if you had to watch one of them right now,
hmm
which one would you watch?
I'd watch the cartoon.
Exactly. Same.
Yeah,
Every time. Like, I
even the
have no
music wasn't
reason.
as like.
Yeah. Like, I have no reason to watch the other one.
Yeah,
Right. Like, it's just basically a better graphics, worse version.
yeah. Well, what did you think about the Latin with
Aladdin.
Masood? Because they changed it a little bit,
Yeah, they
right?
changed it a little bit. I think it was. I mean, a lot of people hated that because they hate whenever you.
Put a black man in something.
Well, whenever you try to change the role of a woman in the story, right? Because they made Jasmine more independent,
Oh,
um,
hmm,
and so I know people were like, "Oh, but that's not
more
how the
independent. She
story."
was independent in the cartoon.
Well, right, but she's still, um, man. How did it? I feel like the way it ended,
I
she
forgot how it ended, to be
was.
honest.
Did she not marry? It was something different about how all that worked.
Mm,
I mean, before she was still beholden to her father. I mean, she was, you know, headstrong,
right. Yeah.
but she was still kind of,
Yeah. She did
under.
have to submit because that's how
Uh,
she ended up
right.
being forced to marry Jafar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit different in the new one, but yeah. I mean, I think it's difficult to redo something so beloved
Hmm.
and try to stick to
Stay
it too
faithful.
close,
Yeah.
right? Like I think it's better to, hey, honor the thing, but
Hmm.
this is our own thing,
I
right?
think I think it's probably better to do that
So
anyway.
so
Yeah.
so you have reason to enjoy both.
Right.
Because
I
if it's
think so
too
too.
similar, then it's like, well, this is not quite as good as that one.
Then there's no
So then I
point in
don't
doing
need
it.
this one. Like
Right.
what I need it
Exactly.
for.
Yeah. No, I agree. But also for that reason, I didn't think about that reason, but I was just thinking about it as you were saying. It's kind of got to be your own, right? And if it's based on an older story, you want to update it, bring in newer aspects of life, right? Things that we just discovered or things that we've evolved into and stuff like that. So you do want to make it your own. Like any story that I've written, it would be great to to see it kind of evolve, right? So, I mean, that's actually what happened from these original stories. The original stories were one way, then they evolved as we told them, or as Disney told them, um, because they wanted it for a different audience. So, I think they did. I think in this last Airbender, they did. I think they did well. Yeah, like I said, I prefer. I didn't recall Home Chick coming in there like Captain Planet and just like blowing everything up and stuff like that. But I liked it. Like I liked it. I also found it very interesting how, excuse me, she didn't actually kill anybody, right? So you saw the Fire Nation in the first episode. They kill people. They
Oh yeah.
toastified them like they were dead,
Roasted.
right? And they continue talking about it. She did not, you know, and I think that that was just a very interesting kind of statement, right? The Avatar isn't there to kill, even though they haven't said that, and he might. I don't know that he's there to bring balance, right? Excuse me. Again, whatever that means,
Right.
but I don't know. Like every life is kind of precious, I suppose, until you just become a jerk and you don't deserve your life. But, I mean, if you attack somebody enough, they're probably going to take your life. But
Yeah.
I
Right.
thought that that was interesting. So,
Yeah, it's interesting to me, and I mentioned before how I actually enjoy this Aang character as opposed. I don't I don't want to keep beating up the unnamed other show, but
oh,
um just that it's it's very important that, at least for me, that I like the main character. And if I don't like them,
Mhm.
then I have someone else to like.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because as I was mentioning,
Well, it's also interesting, maybe,
yeah,
sorry, just to maybe hate that person as well, but not hate as in they're a bad actor, but hate as in
right.
you're so good at being bad, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, I
Mhm.
remember even in, The Walking Dead, there's a character, Negan, who is just when you meet him, he, like, kills 2 of the main characters, like,
Mhm.
he's just evil, right?
Yeah.
But he's evil in such a way that you like him.
Yeah.
And then once he starts turning, you
Mhm.
know, you really want to follow him, like, and you want him to kind of change,
Right.
but you also like that he still has a little bit of that edge to him still, so
Mhm.
it's like,
Yeah.
I can like an unlikable person
Right, yeah.
if it's unlikable in a specific way,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
An annoying person,
But that's the problem, the annoying person, I can't do.
I
Yeah.
can't do
I
it,
mean,
right?
it's
And
hard. Mhm.
yeah, and Sokka isn't quite there yet. He has some of that, but he's also isn't the main character. Like,
Right.
if this was his show,
Mhm.
it would be too much.
Mhm.
I'd be
Yeah.
so annoyed with the show. Like, you can't have, like, too much of that, you know?
Yeah.
He's there as a side thing. Okay, I'm annoyed with him, but okay, moved on. It's fine. He's supposed to be annoying.
Right.
So I can deal with it. But yeah, I like Aang, and I think we talked about, like, I also understand, like, his struggle
Right.
and his fear from a young age of, again, not having to train to get strong.
Right, yeah.
Like, you're training so you don't hurt somebody because
Right.
you are so strong,
Right.
and so the
Mhm.
constant fear of engaging and using it because you could hurt someone
Right.
unintentionally,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's that's a real struggle, and, like,
That is,
I
yeah.
enjoy that being his fight, right?
Mhm.
Not fighting to be strong, but fighting to be strong enough that he can responsibly use his power.
Right.
Because right now he's liable to hurt who knows who because he doesn't really know what he's doing.
Precisely. Yeah.
Um,
I you know, taking it back to Sokka though, I like because I remember him in the cartoon and he was annoying in the cartoon. Uh to be honest. And here he does have that frustrating air about him, right? But I really like how I don't know if it's him or if it's the writers, but they it's really tempered. It's really
mhm.
it's good where it has to be, and then that's it. Like it's really, I think, where it's supposed to be. So I do like that. Again, I don't know if it's him deciding, the actor deciding that this is how he's going to play it, or if he's written like that, but but I
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
definitely brought down his cockiness because
Yeah.
the cartoon, he was much more cocky and
Yeah. And
sure of his
headstrong.
abilities and
Yeah.
just kind of getting shown up, especially in this
Precisely.
episode.
Yep.
Like,
um,
they made fools out of him in the cartoon because he just knew he was gonna fight her and da da da.
yeah.
Something else that I kind of missed was, and maybe they'll have it later, but that commander, from the Fire Nation in the cartoon, at least this episode around this time, um, or maybe I'm mixing up things, but I recall it being someone different.
uh,
Like, I think it was a commander, but I think it was like his uncle or something else. It was someone a little higher up, and Zuko actually beat him in a fight. Um,
okay.
because he's been training with his uncle, who was that dude. Apparently,
Right.
he didn't trying to trade off of that, but he was apparently, what did they call him? The something of the something. I forget.
Yeah, the dragon of the
Dragon of,
something, or
yeah.
north
He
or
was like,
whatever.
yeah, whatever. I ain't talking about that. Like,
Yeah.
past that. But he still got it, and
hmm
so him training Zuko directly, resulted in him being able to best, this commander in battle, which was interesting. So yeah, but again, like, you can't. I like that it's different. I like them
hmm
focusing on different things. I like them bringing in new things.
Yeah.
Um, I like that Aang is still playful, but yeah, I enjoy the little more serious tone
Yeah.
of the show.
I do too. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how'd you feel about how they portrayed, Kyoshi and the village there? Um, as far as their philosophy and kind of how it ended up. You know.
Well, that type of philosophy, that type of Switzerland's philosophy is frustrating, just to be honest. Because like I said, you're going to be able to protect your borders only for so long, right? I think it's a narrow kind of way of looking at things, just in general. I'm not saying just jump into every battle and pick a side. That's not what I'm saying either.
Right.
And I'm wondering if this is what they're actually doing. If they're like, this isn't our battle, this isn't our battle, but this, we have to fight this, you know? But you don't choose the battle just because it comes to your doorstep, you know? So I feel like I don't like that, but I also wonder kind of where they're at with with that philosophy, you know, from the way they made it sound. It sounds like, no, we don't deal with them, they don't deal with us. That's the way the mom made it sound, and
Right.
I disagree with that, um, because it will come back to haunt you, and no one will stand for you because you didn't bother to stand for them. So like these people could have been out there training like they should have been training, like the air nomads. They wouldn't have fallen so easily, you know. Or they could have been training the water tribe from whatever cove or whatever, Dragon's Cove you said, or Tiger's Cove,
Bear Cove.
Bear Cove.
No,
Naming
Wolf
all
Cove.
the
It's Wolf
animals.
Wolf Cove. Yeah, yeah.
Otter Cove.
Right.
But yeah, it's that's how I feel about it. So you don't have to jump for every cause. Obviously, it's not, you have to pick your battles, but make sure you actually pick a battle. You know.
Yeah, it is interesting because that commander even mentioned how, look, like, you guys didn't give us a reason to come over here. Y'all stick to yourselves, and so
Hmm.
you've enjoyed. We left you alone
Hmm.
until now.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, so I wonder how often. It'd been interesting to know. It's one thing to like send away outsiders. Like, look,
Hmm.
we don't want you here. Just keep it moving.
Right.
As opposed to like refusing to help. So like,
Hmm.
did any of the tribes say, "Hey, look, like they're coming to attack us. Can y'all help us?" Like,
Hmm.
were they like, "Nah, sorry, like it's not our problem." Like, I don't know how far they took it.
Yeah, I don't either,
Because I
but it
mean, just kind
sounds
of like
very.
staying out of it is
Hmm.
is easy. But like, if someone asks for your assistance, like, what do you guys do then?
Right.
Do you help or do you be like, look, that if they come here, sure, but until they come here, not our problem.
Yeah, I mean that's the way I took it, but perhaps it wasn't that way. Perhaps it was, you all didn't need my help, but I feel like they could have helped anyway. Like, also they had a shrine to the avatar, right? So the avatar was a stranger at one point, and they accepted them and trained them. I
Well,
feel
no,
like.
I think she's from that town.
Oh, was she from that town?
I believe so. Yeah. Like, well, I mean, she was at least from the
I thought
I
she
think
went
I
there to
think I, th- I th-
train.
I think they were Earth Kingdom. So she's at least like one of them.
Well, see, and this is okay. So then that makes me that gives me all kinds of other questions, because the Fire Lord was like, "Dude, we didn't come here because we had no need to," which meant that they didn't have any benders, right? Because otherwise, if they had benders, they would have come. They're seeking out every bender to destroy them. Basically, that's the idea. So they didn't have any benders. So if you're saying that this this avatar came from them, that means they can birth benders, or they
Oh,
can,
sure.
you know. So the question is, where did all the other benders go? Was there just literally one in all of these thousands of years in this one tribe? So this is why I was thinking, okay, she must have just went there to train, just like Sokka, right? She went there to train. They welcomed her and they trained her. That's what I was thinking. But I could be wrong. But now, if I'm wrong, then I have these other questions. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah, I mean, it made it seem like she grew up there and she was poor on the streets and then kind of, became the Avatar.
Yeah, she could have
Um,
been poor and like grew up there and poor on the streets, but like it doesn't sound like she was born there, is what I'm saying. So it means she was an outsider at first and then came in and they accepted her. And if
yeah,
that was the case, they could have done that with Aang. That's all
right.
I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
and
saying.
we also don't know when they kind of established like that philosophy, right? Was it
True too.
before or after the
That's
Avatar?
true. Yeah. Hmm.
Um, because a lot of things have changed again since then. Since we know the cycle,
Yeah. Hmm.
how long ago was it? Because it's air now. Fire was before. I'm
Hmm.
not sure if it was water or
I
earth
forgot they
before. Yeah,
told
I
us in
forgot the
the
order, right? They
yeah.
tell us, but
Hmm.
so you know, um, what'll be
What?
interesting is there is an Earthbender coming up. I'm sure they're going to show us because he's a main character
Hmm.
along this story. So there
Yeah.
there there is at least one more that's alive that we know of that we should be seeing here pretty soon.
Yes.
So that'll be fun.
That
That'll be
will be
fun.
interesting. Um, yes. Sorry. I was going to ask you, what did you think about the philosophy of the Avatar, which she was telling Aang, like how she was just like, um, kind of like you will kill people or something like that, right? She or not kill people, but like people will. What did she say? She was like, you will. Now my brain is getting all foggy. Okay, she was like yelling at him and basically tell him that he will kill people, but many more people will be killed if he doesn't act or something
Right.
like that, right? What did you think about that philosophy? Because I literally just said that she came in and she didn't kill anybody, which I thought was, the philosophy of the
Yeah.
kind of the Avatar. But
Yeah. I mean, I think on
do you
a
think it
on a
has to be that way?
on a large scale,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's correct to want to minimize death,
Right. Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
To say I will never kill anyone
Mm-hmm.
for the person that he is, I don't think is reasonable,
Okay.
right? I don't. I think he can always try, but I don't think it can be. Hey, I never kill,
Right.
right? Because I don't think that works. Just like I personally don't feel I need to go in the military and like
Mm-hmm.
go kill people,
Right.
but I can't say it shouldn't exist, and there shouldn't be a time when we have to do that,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we should willing to go out and just run around shooting like I don't think we should be
Yeah.
so flippant about it, and I think
Mm-hmm.
it should be a last resort.
Mm-hmm.
But to say, hey, the United States will never kill anyone, like I don't b- because that's not the rules everyone else is using,
Right.
unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
And so if they're killing us,
Mm-hmm.
then there's at some point we have to kind of do something,
Right.
right? Um, so yeah, I think that might be something difficult for him to kind of grapple with.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but at the same time, she also said like each avatar is different, right?
Yeah.
So it depends upon the time you're born in, your circumstances, like what you need to do to be the
Mm-hmm.
avatar.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll have all this physical power, right? But
Mm-hmm.
it's not simply like the
Just
physical
being,
strength
yeah. Mm-hmm.
to just go and just like fight, right?
Right.
Like you have a task to do specifically. And
Right.
so his task might not be to fight and kill, right?
Yeah.
It might be, but it might not be. But I
It
don't
might be
think
the
I
same.
don't think it's reasonable to just like say cross it off like that's not for me to do,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you might have to.
Maybe that's why she didn't kill anybody, because she was just a manifestation of herself, but through Aang, right?
Right. Yeah.
Aang is not, he seems more of a pacifist.
Right. For sure. Yeah, it definitely could have been, and again, in that scenario, is there a need to kill necessarily?
Oh yeah, take
Like
them
if
all out.
if there was 100,000 of them,
Mm-hmm.
right? We got to squash this, right?
Mm-hmm.
20 dudes, you knock them around, they ran away, like, fine.
Yeah, but then they're gonna come
you
back
know.
to fight another day, and that's not what you wanted, right? And they're gonna come back harder. So I mean, at that point, yeah, I would have taken
Yeah.
him out. I mean, I appreciate the fact that he didn't, but like, yeah, if you're
Yeah.
asking,
Right.
yeah, hey, listen,
But
they
I mean,
came looking
honestly,
for a fight.
in that scenario, if they're gonna come back, they're coming back either way. Right. So
No, but there would be they wouldn't have these people.
Well, right, but I mean,
No,
like
listen,
an
you
extra
came
20
looking
dudes
for
come
a
back.
fight. You come to the
Right.
hood, you looking for a fight, you gonna get a fight, and you might not be walking out of that fight. That's what I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying. I
Yeah.
mean, they did that to the air nomads, right? Maybe not this specific group of people, but they did that to the air nomads. I think it's only right. Like this is the whole eye
Nate's on
for an
that
eye
eye for an
thing,
eye.
right?
Exactly.
like
That is Nate's philosophy.
like if you were always going to get back what you put out, right? So they came in there looking for him. Granted, they didn't kill anybody. So in this specific situation, they didn't kill anybody. So, but I think, anyways, whatever.
Yeah. Now, to that point, I wonder, do you think it was necessary for them to even fight? Right? Because again,
Who?
they were the Fire Nation came to Kyoshi looking for the Avatar, right?
Yeah.
At that point, they were simply looking for the Avatar.
Yeah, but they don't own
When
the
Right,
village.
when Mama started the fight, right?
Yeah.
Like she started the fight. It
Yes.
wasn't like, "Oh, they're fighting us now," because
Yeah.
it's conceivable, I don't know, maybe they don't find them and then they leave, right? I don't know. Or at that point they start acting up and we got to fight them.
Oh,
But
absolutely
she actively
not.
like kicked off the fighting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a fight until she started it.
And do you not agree with that? Like,
I don't think it was necessary. I would not. I wouldn't have done it that way.
if I think if you know your strength and you know their strength and you think that you have the upper hand, I I
But they
totally.
didn't. Like they only survived
Well, I said they
because
thought that they had that
right,
I mean, they
like
were good fight. They had fans that repelled the fire, right? They had the moves. They've been training. No, I definitely would have. No,
yeah,
because the problem is you don't get to come up in here like you the police, and even the police, like you need a warrant, before you come up in here. And also, this is our country, this is our land. If we let you do this once, you're gonna try to do it again and again because that's how bullies do, right? So no, we're gonna teach you a lesson. We start this fight. Okay, fine. We may have lost the fight. Well, they had the avatar, so they didn't actually lose the fight. But if the avatar wasn't there, they may have lost it. But that also is a statement. If you come back, we coming again. We coming at you again, right? I feel like if you don't make your stand, then they're just going to walk all over you, right? Because then you won't have a place. You won't know where to actually make your stand. And by the time you actually make your stand, you'll probably be too weak to do it. You know, if you stand, other people will see you standing and then they'll fight with you. But if you don't, if you continue folding, then people won't come and stand by your side. And then you're never going to make it, you know? So, no, I think she was, I told, that is a very good question. Hey, so our listeners, what do you think about the initiation of that fight on, was it
Kyoshi.
Kyoshi? Um, do you think that they should have just let them come in and search the village, or do you think, or the island, I guess, or do you think that they should have done what they did and just kick their butt? Well, at least try anyway.
They
Tell us what
tried.
you think.
It was a good try. Good try. All right.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, scores, Nate. What are you thinking?
I think
12?
it's still at a solid. I think it's still at a 12 out of 100. No.
Ouch.
No, I think it's still at
Rude.
a solid 8. I think it's still there. Yeah, I'm not upset with it. I'm not disappointed. I think it earned its stripes. What do you think?
Yeah. I think I agree. I think I'm still at an 8. I think I'm still at 8. You know,
Yeah.
it's growing on me. It's getting better.
Mhm.
Um, yes, certain things I think would push me to a 9 or a 10, and that's just more about things that I happen to like, which is like a little more intrigue, right? Because I
Yeah.
noticed as we were watching it, like I didn't have anything to grasp on to like try to theorize about or like
Yeah. Mhm.
discuss, right? It's like it's for now it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, yeah.
They've not given us any like mysterious person
Yeah.
or some side conversation that they don't explain, or something to like, hey, something's happening here that's not fully explained. What else is going on?
Right. No
So there's no
disrespect.
mystery right now.
Yeah.
So to that degree, it's a little bit lower to me.
Hmm.
But that would really, for me, take it up to a 9 or a 10 would be some additional weight to what's going on, and some additional things to kind of think through and try to parse out. But
Yeah.
that's
I
just
think
personal preference,
I
probably.
didn't think about that to like why wouldn't it get a 9 or 10? I mean, it crossed my mind the question, but then it just crossed my mind. But if I'm thinking about it, one of my biggest criteria for it to reach a 10 is it's got to have some kind of queer storyline, and I this show does not, so it's never going to reach a 10 for me. Um, it doesn't have to be front and center, but I'm just saying, like, so far, there's nothing. But something to make it reach a 9, yeah, I think so too. Like, I know the story pretty much. I mean, at least I watched it and I watched the movie, so I know pretty much what the story is, and they're sticking pretty much to it, with the exception of a few things. So yeah, there is no surprise. There's no surprise. There's no, like you said, mystery. There's no, ooh, what is this sort of thing? Blah blah blah. So yeah, I guess that would be the thing that tilts it up into kind of a 9. Or if it was just like super fantastic, like just jaw dropping, just like, oh my god, sort of thing. So, and that hasn't happened either. So,
Yeah. So yeah, I was trying to think of like where they could have inserted some mystery just with what we got. And one way could have been, they explained how he ended up kind of transforming into Kyoshi and like being her, and then like reverting back.
yeah.
It could have been a mystery if we see him flying, but we can't really see who it is,
Hmm.
and it drops in as her, and then
Hmm.
they fight, and then he kind of turns back to himself, wakes up, and then the episode is over, right? And we had not seen him talk to her and her explain that to him or anything, like
Uh,
that. And then they show us that later, like, oh, they had a conversation. Oh, he can do this thing where the shrines, right? That would have been some mystery for like the
yeah, I
next
guess that's true.
episode
Yeah.
if he would have just come doing that, and then he wake up like, what happened? And then it's over,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
I think that could have been like, oh, wait a minute, like, oh, hold up, pause, like,
Yeah.
why? How is he her? Like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah, I guess that would have been
Um,
nice if they hadn't explained. Yeah, they
yeah,
explained.
but
They literally explained
yeah, he
everything.
woke up
They're
and
as
just
bad as
told us.
me.
He's like, oh yeah, I can do it, but only at certain shrines.
Right.
Okay, like
Yeah. Well, there you go.
that's solved.
Answering question.
I guess they're going to the Northern Kingdom. Okay,
And another
whatever.
shrine. Huh?
Right. I don't know. Yeah. So I don't know, but I mean, folks, let's know what you guys think. Also, like, would you like to see some more mystery, or are you okay? Or I mean, or do you think there is mystery? I mean, maybe this is stuff that we missed that maybe is mysterious that we just glossed over. I don't
to,
know.
to be honest, I'm starting to think. I'm wondering. You'll say, so these shows that are based on shows that already existed or movies that already existed. I think that might be one of the things that prevents so many people from watching it, right? At least when it comes to kind of like reaction content and stuff like that, possibly because um, they already know it, right? So it's just they would just be watching it for to see what the kind of the live action thing would be, but then after that's done, like it's no, there's nothing more to go into it. Yeah, I don't know. I could be
Yeah.
wrong. I don't know.
Which is again more evidence for it to be kind of its own thing,
Right? Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
and one way to be its own thing would be to add something else mysterious that
Yeah.
people that have seen it before would not anticipate, but that is
Yeah.
impactful. Um, so I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess we'll see. I mean, it's only
We will.
episode 2, so
Yep.
more to come. All right, folks. Well, hey, again, thanks for watching. You got our review. Let us know what you think of the episode. Give it
Yes.
a 10, give it an 8, give it a 1. On the Percy Jackson scale, where does this show fit?
Do not compare it to Percy Jackson.
Oh my goodness. Don't worry, we got more Percy Jackson episodes coming out pretty
We
soon.
do.
If you're looking for those, all 5 of you, however many of you guys are wanting to watch those. It's
It's
more than
probably
5.
legit.
I know. No shade to y'all. Look, if you like the show, that's great. I mean, we enjoyed it enough to keep watching it, so we didn't hate it. But
No, we
anyway,
didn't hate it. No, no, no. Yeah,
that being said, we love this one. We're gonna keep
yeah,
rolling with it,
yep,
and can't wait for episode 3.
yep.
So we'll see y'all there.
Ciao.
Later.